Hi, gorgeous.
Hello.
Lovely to see you.
Yes, and you. Thank you for inviting me on.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I know it's quite nerve-wracking the first time, but it'll be fine. And you're such a lovely lady, and you've got such an incredibly inspiring story to tell. And so we really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Really, really lovely. So we had a chat. I think it was on Friday, was it, last week?
Yeah, it was on Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just wanted to find out exactly when you started and how you started and how you heard about HBD. And you'd really been through the ringer with your health and had not one but two lots of different types of cancer, and as a result had surgery and all sorts of very strong drugs. And I'll let you say it obviously in your own words, sweet, but I think you'd reached pretty much rock bottom. And
Oh gosh, yeah.
I think when you took up HBD, that you were thinking, well, at least I can get some control over my weight, even if I can't feel like I used to feel. I can't feel like me anymore. But then things started to change because you very bravely jumped in, thanks to your sister-in-law. And
Yeah.
so what made you finally decide to start? I think it was April, was it, 24?
Yes, it was. Yeah, 2nd of April I started, and obviously I'd had a lot going on health-wise. I was diagnosed in 2017 to start with melanoma, and then another one in 2018. A few years of it going okay, and then we hit lockdown, and then in lockdown I noticed that I had a swelling
Yeah.
and had scans, and the melanoma had metastasized and gone to my liver, so I was now stage 4
Oh my God.
and had to have immunotherapy, then developed colitis, and then I was put on steroids, so it was lots of treatment. And then everything was stable for quite some time. And then I had regular scans to make sure that everything was okay. And then in 2022, I discovered that my lymph nodes were swollen again. So I went and got it checked, and they discovered that I had a small lump in my breast as well. So yeah, I had surgery for the melanoma and for the breast cancer at the same time. But then they discovered that the breast cancer had spread in my breast, so I had to have a mastectomy. And then that I had an implant put in, but then my body rejected that, and I had radiotherapy, targeted therapy, so a lot of drugs.
A lot of
And
drugs.
I tried, to lose some weight, and I managed to lose just over a stone.
You did really well.
And yeah, I stopped drinking alcohol, and I gave up eating refined sugars and carbohydrates. But then it just sort of came to a bit of a halt again. And I thought, I just desperately was so unhappy with how I looked and how I felt. And my lovely sister-in-law said to me, oh, me and her husband, my brother, just started a human being diet. She said, it's amazing. And she said, she gave me some apple cider vinegar in sparkling water and said, here, you can drink this, try it. And I was like, I can't. I said, it just smells like a chip shop. I just could not get the taste for it at all. And she said, oh, just try this diet. It's so good. And I thought, oh, I don't know. Don't know if I can be weighing things out. I thought it just sounded a bit too complicated for me at the
Sounded must have
time.
sounded really onerous, with what was
Yeah,
going on as well. And you
yeah.
think, I don't need this complication. I
No, I
just want
thought.
to do something easy.
So I thought, oh, I don't know. Anyway, I saw her cookbook, and I had a flick through and thought, actually, there's some nice things in there. And I went home and I ordered the cookbook. And when it arrived, I had a read, and I thought, oh, okay, yeah, I think I might be able to do this.
So brave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I ordered the book and read the book. And then I started looking on Instagram at some of the really inspiring people.
Yeah.
Obviously, so many people that
So,
I followed that
yeah.
really inspired me. And the Friday inspo posts were just amazing for me. I looked at those and thought, oh my gosh, if these people can look like that to start with, and now look at, how much weight they've lost, and everyone was saying how well they felt. And I just thought, I don't know if I'll ever feel that well because of all the treatment that I'm on and everything that I've been through. And I thought, you know, having the cancer and all the operations and everything, I thought, I don't know if I'll ever feel that well again. I really felt awful.
Yeah, I can imagine. Terrible. Such
So
a terrible combination of things, just one thing after another.
it was.
Yeah,
And I think, you know, we always said if you wrote a book, you'd never make it that bad with so many different
no,
diagnoses and things going
no.
wrong, because it just seems a bit unbelievable that you can have so many things going wrong. But
Really,
obviously I
really
started,
incredible. Yeah,
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 I
amazing.
I thought, right, okay, I'm going to give this a go. So I set a date and I thought, right, I'm going to wait until after Easter because I wanted my Easter eggs first.
Yeah, very nice.
And I thought I thought I'll start on the Tuesday after Easter Monday. So I did, and I thought, right, if I need to, you know, to keep myself accountable, I'll set up an Instagram account and I'll post every day what I eat,
Yeah,
so that then there's no, you know, I can't falter.
yeah, well done.
So yeah, so that's what I did. And
Yeah,
the Friday inspo posts just amazed me every week. I'd see them and I'd think, you know, it's just incredible.
incredible.
And
Thank you, Kerry
I
HBD
know,
started.
yeah,
Yeah, what a wonderful thing to do.
absolutely fabulous. And I know that everyone says, oh, you know, don't worry about the weight. But for me at that time, I just desperately, desperately wanted to lose that weight and try and get me back, because I'd felt that I'd had, you know, several years of treatments and things going wrong with my health, that actually I thought I just need to do this for
Yeah,
me,
yeah, of course. And
and
you were
try.
thrown into menopause as well, weren't you, because of the drugs?
Yes.
Was you-
So obviously I'm on the breast cancer that I have or had was a hormone
Yeah,
fed cancer. So they put me, I was actually on HRT at the time as well. So I had to stop that because it was hormone receptor. So they put me on some drugs to stop me producing any hormones. And of course, now the menopause symptoms are really sort of enhanced
and
on those drugs.
just suddenly, just like that,
Yeah.
like a horrible switch. Yeah, really
Um,
tough.
but actually, through doing human being diet, those have massively, massively reduced. I do find sometimes when I have a change of brand that the symptoms come back, and they can be, you know, I get the odd night sweats and things, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was. And aches and pains have pretty much disappeared, providing I don't eat too many things in my treat meal that I shouldn't.
What have you
Yeah, it's
picked up that you can't, that you're really much better without sugar?
sugar. Sugar for me is a no-no. I don't eat
Yeah.
grains. And I don't eat that much wheat. I do make sourdough bread with rye flour, and I make that for my boys as well with white flour. So it's quite tempting because bread is my thing, but I try and limit that. So yeah, I don't drink very often these days, and when I do, I don't like it anymore. Like the next day, I just feel awful,
It's not
and I
worth
get
it.
no, and I get the same when if I eat sugar as well. So, and obviously wheat, and the inflammation starts, and then I get joint aches,
Yeah.
and so it's not
And
worth it.
migraines as well you suffered with, didn't you? Was that,
Migraines,
yeah.
yes, yeah,
Was that
suffered with.
treatment or was that like menopausal thing?
I think it was menopausal.
Yeah.
And at one point, they were worried and sent me for brain scans because they thought that maybe the melanoma had gone to my brain,
Oh,
but it what you know
yeah,
the brain scans were all clear, so they said, you know, it's obviously just the menopause and
yeah.
the medication that I'm on. But since I've been on HBD, touch wood, I haven't had any migraines.
Thank goodness. Thank
So
goodness for that.
yeah,
No more reflux either, because they also
no,
gave you that horribly strong drug omeprazole, didn't they, to control the
yes.
reflux?
Yeah, well, I was on omeprazole for
Yeah.
years, and obviously because of taking so much medication, there's obviously more risk of having ulcers and things. So yeah, I was on omeprazole, and because at one point for a year I was on targeted therapy for the melanoma, which is a bit like a chemo type drug, but it just targets specific cells. And I was also on targeted therapy for the breast cancer as well, so a different one for the breast cancer. So I was taking so many tablets and having to have things at different times because I couldn't have them together.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah, I
yes.
had to have a metrazole for
Yeah.
reflux. And but since starting HBD, I thought actually it doesn't feel as bad, and I just stopped taking it. And I haven't had to take any since, and I haven't had to have any antacid
Thank
medication at all. So
goodness, thank goodness. I think that wheat plays a big part in very often in acid reflux and all sorts of gastrointestinal problems and mood problems. But
yeah,
I'm so proud of you because it was that last Christmas before you started in April that was kind of pivotal, I think, that you felt really, really ill
I
and you
did.
thought "I've got to do
Yeah.
something about this."
Yeah, well, my weight was creeping up,
Yes.
and every time I went to see the oncologist, which was every 3 months, I would get on the scales before I went in to see him, and each time there was, a few more pounds had gone on, and I just got to the point where I thought I just need to do something because I was so desperately unhappy. And obviously, when my body rejected the implant, then I had to be put on really strong antibiotics,
Nonsense.
and yeah,
Your
so
poor little gut. I'm glad that you're taking
no,
it to improve, aren't you?
yes, yes,
Thank
I am.
goodness for that. And do you
Yeah,
actually look forward to taking it now?
yeah, I do. I not quite so much as my brother. My brother has it as well, and he said he loves it. It's like pineapple juice, but for me to start with, it was a bit like hold my nose and
Yeah.
don't try and smell it too much. But now I've got used to it, and it's just part
Yeah.
of my daily routine now.
Well
So,
done.
and
You almost
obviously
keep doing.
apple cider vinegar is good
You
too, isn't it? For that,
learn to
which I
love it.
can drink now.
Your sister-in-law was right after all. And
Yeah.
you
So.
find that help with cravings for sugar and things like that. It does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I try, and if if I get to a point where I think, oh, I really fancy something, I think, okay, apple cider vinegar. And
Yeah.
actually for my treat meals now, I buy an apple cider vinegar that has flavors in for my treat meal. So like I've got a pomegranate one, which is really nice, and I have
I
that.
love that. Oh, that's so lovely. And talking of treat meals, what do you have? What gives you joy, but at the same time makes you feel good the next day? Have you discovered some
Um,
good standbys?
yeah, I love a good roast dinner.
Me too.
That's one of my favourite treat meals, and I cook my potatoes in olive oil with butter
No,
on, and so yeah, I do like that. But I don't. I try not to eat potatoes too much because I don't think that they're great for me either.
no. Like,
So my treat meal,
yeah.
and obviously gravy and lots of veg. So I really enjoy that. Sometimes I might make a sourdough pizza,
Nice. Yeah.
which the boys like. But
And
yeah,
has their diet changed since you started HBD?
yes, they're very health
They are.
conscious, and yeah,
But what an
I don't.
amazing example you are. They saw
Yeah,
the depths of despair and just completely turned around.
yeah.
It's so good for them to see
I
that.
think, yeah, they're all very proud of me that
Mhm.
I've, changed, and, I've done this for my health. And I think I was at the point where to start with, I was like, well, I've got this, that, and the other wrong with me. I'm just going to eat what I like. I'm going to drink what I
Yeah,
like
well,
because
yeah,
life's too short and I'm going to enjoy it.
yeah.
And then I thought, actually, what am I doing to myself? I'm putting all these things into my body that they aren't helping me at all. But I was just absolutely amazed
Mm,
that the diet could do so much good for me. And I think,
yes.
as well as the weight loss, because, actually doing HBD, I lost over 3 stone,
Fantastic.
but it's just made me feel so much better in so many different
And do you
ways.
remember how long it took for you to start feeling better, once you started HBD?
I think that when I was in phase 3, probably 3 or 4 weeks in, I thought, actually, I am feeling
The
better.
joy.
I think for me, I felt so rubbish beforehand anyway that, you know, as soon as I started, I was thinking, oh, yeah, I think I do feel better. But it really sort of hit me that actually, yes, I've stopped taking my reflux tablets. I've, stopped having to do lots of things that I was doing with my medication, and thinking, because I with the medication that I was taking, it did upset my gut. So, there were lots of things, that small changes that happened over time. And I thought, by about week 3 or 4 of phase 3, I thought, it's made a massive difference. And, I do get days with the medication that I'm on where I do feel, I don't feel great today,
Yeah.
but I stick to the HBD, and it does massively, massively help.
Well done, you. Well done, Sarah. And I bet you're helping lots of other people. I think that there are people who've had a diagnosis of breast cancer who are still struggling with it in the community. And I know that you're very generous with your time. So thank you
Well,
on behalf of
uh,
the ladies as well, very much indeed.
well, I
Yeah.
know I've had several messages from different people that are going through the same thing with breast cancer, or have just been through treatment, or just finishing treatment, or about to start treatment, and they're saying they want to do something, but they didn't know whether it would suit their treatment, or whether it would help them. And I think by being open about it and talking about it, and being happy to talk about it, then people have said, it's really inspired me to think, actually there is a bit of
Yeah.
hope. There is hope for me to be able to lose that weight again, because it is really tough
Yeah.
to, when you're at menopausal age anyway, to lose weight. But when you're on certain treatments that are just making you put even more weight on, it is really hard going.
No, really, really hard going. It's incredible, and I really admire you because you might have seen it as just more deprivation, more unpleasantness, but you managed to turn it around in your head and think to yourself, no, I'm going to really give this a try, give it a go. And I think that by the sound of it, you were pretty well prepared, so that helped you. And I'd love to hear about the reward that you were going to give yourself.
Yeah. Well, I like stationery, nice stationery and pens and books and things. So I bought myself a really nice meal planner, and in there it had a space to write down your measurements, and then you can review them every week. And there was a bit where you put in about what you will do if you reach your target. And I put in there that I would buy myself a new dress. And I was so looking forward to buying myself this one new dress, but actually I've had to buy myself a whole new wardrobe, because I've lost so much that nothing that I had fits now. So
No, oh, that's so wonderful. And I think it was a particular pink dress you had your eye on, is that
yeah,
right?
well, I think Jules had a navy blue and white French Connection dress, and she had posted that she had found a dress similar in pink and green. And I messaged her and said, "Oh, would you mind telling me where it's from?"
Yeah.
So yeah, so I bought myself a dress, and I couldn't wait to be able to fit into it, and I did. And now it's a little bit loose, but I can still wear it.
You
So
can still, that's great.
yeah.
So lovely. Speaking of lovely HBD Jules, still 21, she gave me this amazing, I don't know if you can see the colours,
Oh,
beautiful
lovely.
hardy. Aren't I lucky?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's beautiful. That really suits you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. She's very good at picking things for other people as well, isn't she? She's a fantastic designer too. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are so many people though, aren't there, doing HBD, that have just been a massive, massive inspiration to me, and helped me out and messaged me, and it's just been incredible. But obviously now with the club as well, then you've got that on hand all the time, haven't you? So
Yeah, they're so lucky, the people who are starting out now, aren't they, compared to how it was in
yes,
the old
yes,
days when nobody really had a clue. I mean, we had Instagram, which was really helpful. And like you say, the Friday Inspo, and everybody's sharing and being so generous and so supportive. It's just so
yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, because I used to go through people's Instagram accounts looking for different meals and things that I could cook, and trying to find different things that were going to be easy.
Yeah.
And now obviously you've got all the recipes on there, which is great as well.
Yeah, HBD foodie Lizzie, and she's an amazing cook, isn't she?
Oh yeah,
And her recipes
yeah, amazing.
work. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I think yeah, she was my savior to start with, because I really missed like salad dressings and
yeah,
things like that. And so like her Caesar salad dressing recipe is fab, and the salmon fish cakes, because they're so quick
so
and
quick and
easy. And
easy. Yeah.
yeah, and her duck recipe as well. That's
Oh my
that's
goodness.
that's really delicious. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, really fabulous. And so tell me about, you said you really wanted to do this, Sarah, for your health, but I think you were thinking, because you also mentioned your boys, and you thought, my goodness, if
Yeah.
it goes on, am I going to see them growing up?
Yeah, well, at one point when I was diagnosed stage 4, it was very much a case of I didn't know how long I was
Yeah,
going to have. And my oncologist did say to me after I'd finished immunotherapy, which actually that nearly killed me. He said if you hadn't have had that immunotherapy, we would have had a very different conversation, and I would have only been giving you a maximum of 6 months. So for me, to have this chance
yeah,
to spend time with my, amazing family, my
yeah.
lovely husband and my two, gorgeous young men,
Yeah.
is just,
Well,
it's just
a
incredible.
gift, an incredible gift, isn't it? And a
It
gift that
is.
you've given them as well, showing them how important it is, how much it matters about what's on the end of our fork. Isn't that
Yeah,
fantastic?
it is.
I mean, people say there's always a silver lining. I mean, you have been through the mill and through the ringer. I've seen lots of really lovely messages for you there. But
Mm.
one really good thing that's come out of it is that your boys now know what healthy eating is about.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
they do. And they encouraged me all the way through. They didn't start doing HBD with me, and I would sit there with my little plate and, everything weighed out, and I would still cook them, meals with potatoes or rice and pasta and that kind of thing. But actually now they're both wanting to eat more,
Yeah.
clean, and they say to me, well, is it HBD friendly, mum? And if it is, then yes, I'm happy to eat it as well. So
That's so lovely. No, well done, you. Sarah, did you have a chance to see any of these messages? I find it really
no, I haven't
amazing.
because I've been too busy
Reading
talking. But
the messages and chatting is really hard, isn't it?
yeah.
HB London says, I remember you starting, Sarah, and so amazing seeing this journey. You're so brave and honest and moving. Thank you.
Oh, that's so nice.
HBD
Oh,
Elisa, Sarah, you're such a beautiful inspiration. Lorraine, HBD, fabulous, incredible journey and amazing bravery. What inspiration. Sarah,
oh.
you're an inspiration, says HBD Sue. You really are. You really are. It's so lovely to
Well,
see you here. We really, really appreciate you.
I'm just so grateful that I found HBD, and so many people have inspired me, that I would just like to inspire, one or two people maybe that are going through a similar thing that I went through, and just
Mm.
be able to spur them on a bit. It does work,
Yeah.
and you can take hold of your life again, because it really did feel like I'd lost me, and I'm starting to get myself back.
Yeah.
Obviously confidence has taken a massive
Yeah, of
knock,
course.
but I'm on the way, and I'm getting myself strong now that I've lost the weight.
Yeah.
So
That's fantastic. So we were saying, there's so much in life that we can't control. We get thrown all sorts of weird, shocking, horrifying, things that make us grieve and everything else. But this is one thing that we can control,
yeah,
to choose what we eat. And it is difficult at the beginning, and we do have cravings, and we all have wobbles, and that's completely normal. But it's about how quickly you can get back on
I think,
plan.
and that's the beauty, I think, isn't it, of HBD? It's the fact that that, okay, I might have slipped up last night. I might have had, a couple of glasses of wine and some chocolate or crisps that I shouldn't have had. But actually, I'm going to get back on tomorrow morning, straight back on it, and I know that I'll be feeling good again within a couple of
Yeah,
days.
it's
But
good, isn't it?
Mhm.
Really good. Just a couple more messages here for you, Sarah, from Christy's Human Being Journey 2021. Sarah, honestly, I'm lost for words with this love. Honestly,
Oh.
you are amazing. And Gigi saying there's an NSV right there, a whole new wardrobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my husband wasn't quite expecting that
No,
one.
I saw a longer one. HBD Vegetarian Day. Sarah, you're incredible.
No.
3-7 as well. You're truly inspirational, and you are.
Oh,
And thank you so much. And thank you for spreading love and inspiration. And
oh, thank you. Thank you for everything that you do for Human Being Diet,
yeah,
and
I
for putting
appreciate
it
it.
all out there.
And
Yeah.
thank you.
I
And
just
for
wish that I'd
reminding me.
found it years ago.
I
That's the
know.
thing.
Yeah, there's always a right time for everything. It's weird, isn't it? How
Yeah,
life
yeah.
works. But no, thank you. And thank you for being a beautiful ambassador in our HBD club.
Oh, it's an honour.
The love there as well. Thank you, my darling. Lovely.
Thank you so
Really appreciate
much.
you.
Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.